Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today I have a pretty massive comic book haul to show you guys today. At least it's massive for me. I've been out of town for the last week, so that's why I haven't gotten any videos out recently. My wife just got her bachelor's degree, so I'm very proud of her for that. And we had to take a road trip to Omaha for the graduation ceremony. So while I was there, of course, I had to check out some of the comic book shops, and I got a few things that I'm more than happy to show you today. So we'll get to it. First of all, I stopped off at a place called Dragon's Lair in Omaha, and they actually had two different locations. I only had time to go to one of them though. Very nice people there. They were very friendly. My only real complaint was I found that their back issues were a little slightly disorganized. Wasn't quite as well organized as I would like it to be. So I didn't have a lot of luck going through their back issues, but they did have a very, very good selection of current books. When I was able to get several books that I had been kind of missing out on or wasn't able to get up until I went there. So let me show you what I got. And first of all, the one back issue I did get is Red Sonja, Price of Blood #1. Now, this is a book I already had the Virgin cover of with the autograph from the cover artist. So when I have Virgin covers, I like to get the trade dress version also. That way I can double bag them and have them both in there. So I was able to get this for just a couple bucks. So that was one that I was able to get. Then I moved on to the new books, the current books. And I was able to get Invincible Red Sonja #1. This is actually one of the alternate covers that I had been looking for originally. So they had this one there, and I was able to pick this one up just to have an extra alternate cover. And then I also got the Invincible Red Sonja issue #2, which just came out last week. So I got this one as well from there. And then, excuse me, jumping ahead real quick, to keep with Red Sonja, when I got back home, I had a nice surprise waiting for me, and that was the Invincible Red Sonja #2, the Jamie Tyndall exclusive variant. This one is actually autographed by Jamie Tyndall. I have the certificate with it, so I was able to this was a pre-order that I made, and this came in and was waiting for me when I got back home. So I was happy to have this one along with these. So I got those, Red Sonja, the Invincible Red Sonja. I'm enjoying the story so far on these. I have to admit I'm not a huge fan of the interior artwork. I have some issues with that. I won't go on that today because I got a lot of books to go through, but maybe in a future video I'll kind of go into that a little more in depth. I also picked up Wolverine #11. No particular reason other than it's Wolverine and Omega Red's on the cover. I know this has been out for a few weeks, but I saw it there. And it was just kind of a, what the heck, let me get that one. Also, this is still from Dragon's Lair in Omaha. This is Spider-Man Spider Shadow #2, part of the new What If series. And this is what if Peter Parker had kept the symbiote suit. So this has been a really good read so far. I've read this one already, actually, after buying it. And I'm really enjoying this story so far. I had #1 already, and I was able to get that one to continue. Here's another one that I missed out on, Heroes Reborn #1. This is the Power Princess variant cover. This was one I was really hoping to get my hands on, and I've been looking out for it but couldn't find it anywheres. I did finally find it at Dragon's Lair, so I got it there. They had a few of them, and I grabbed it just for cover price rather than having to order it off of eBay or something. So very happy to have this one. This is another story that, you know, the artwork's great, but on this one, the story is kind of, I'm not sure if I'm going to, after the first, they have the first 4 issues, and yeah, that might be another one that I review in a future video. I might not be reading many more of those. Here's another one that I also already had, but I had a different cover for. This is Batman 108, and this is the first appearance of Miracle Molly, but this is the alternate cover, variant cover that I've seen everybody else get, and they had it at Dragon's Lair, so I was able to get this one as well. So I was happy to get this cool cover. So that's what I had from Dragon's Lair in Omaha. After that, I went to a place called KRYPTON Comics in Omaha. And KRYPTON Comics has a huge, huge store. Tons and tons of back issues to choose from. They were well organized, and they got a bunch of other stuff. Lots of old vintage action figures and collectibles. They had a whole wall full of Star Wars figures and toys. Just lots and lots of stuff to choose from. If you're ever in the Omaha area, I definitely recommend checking out KRYPTON Comics. Awesome, awesome store. And there I picked up Alien number 2. This is a second printing, but I got Alien number 1 in the Walmart 3-pack about a week or two ago. So I wanted to get issue number 2 and number 3 that had come out recently. So I was able to get this one. Cool cover on this one. And then I also got Alien number 3, a really cool variant cover on this one as well. So now I've got 1, 2, and 3. I have to sit down and actually read these now that I have the first 3 of them. But I got these from KRYPTON Comics as part of the new current haul. And then I started going through the back issues, and there was a lot to go through. I did good though on all of the stuff that I've got. I don't think I spent more than $5 or $6 for any one particular comic. Everything was at least, I think $6 was the highest I spent. $6 or under for everything that I got. So I did really good. You know, if you're working on a budget, you can find stuff that you like. This is Black Cat number 2, J. Scott Campbell cover. I have some of this series I haven't shown you guys yet, but I do have some of this Black Cat series, and this was like 1 of 2 issues that I'm missing. So I've almost got, I think it's like issues 1 through 12, I believe, and I was just missing 2 and 11. So now I'm only missing 11 now that I've got this one. So they had that one there. So you only paid $4.50 for that one. And then another $3 pickup here, Sensational She-Hulk number 31. This is just some great classic stuff. You know, before Deadpool started breaking the fourth wall, She-Hulk did it first. This is just a great, funny cover. I really liked, just really liked this one, and I wanted to get it because it was there, and it just didn't cost very much. So, you know, hey, a couple bucks. Some of these things are, you know, no major keys or anything, but here's a Mark Spector Moon Knight number 19. This is one of the higher priced ones that I paid for. $6 for this book. So this is, I think, one of the highest priced ones that I actually got. And I love this here. It says Wolverine does not appear in this comic. So it's kind of funny there, but it's got Punisher and Spider-Man on the cover. And then I also picked up issue number 20 as well to go along with it, 19 and 20. So some more Moon Knight stuff for my collection, and you got Punisher and Spider-Man in there, so that's always a bonus. Good win. Speaking of Spider-Man, you might have seen my earlier video where I talk about like King in Black and the Inferno crossover events. Well, this was one of the Inferno crossover books that I did not have. I was missing. This is Spectacular Spider-Man 147 from the Inferno crossover event. This one only cost me $2, so I grabbed this one. They had that one there. Happy to add that to my Inferno collection. And then, being the Wolverine fan that I am, for $5 I got Weapon X issue number. This is Marvel Presents issue number 73. So this is, I think, issue 72 is the first Weapon X issue, if I'm not mistaken. That's the first part of the story. So this is the early part of the Weapon X story. This is only, I think, only the second issue in the Weapon X story. And then also issue number 74 as well. So a couple more Weapon X books to add to my collection. I'd like to get the whole set eventually at one point, but for now I've got a couple of these. So happy to have those. And speaking of Wolverine, this is a major minor key for me, or maybe a major key. I don't know how to describe it. This is Wolverine number 1 from the Chris Claremont and Frank Miller run, the limited series. But this is not the original number 1. This is actually a reprint. So this is what they call, this is what, when you hear the word facsimile. People talk about a facsimile edition. That's what this is. It's a copy of the original. It's a reprint of the original. And you can tell the facsimiles from the originals, one by the cover price up here, but also there's the little Marvel logo down here at the bottom. The originals don't have the little Marvel logo down here, so they put these Marvel logos on the reprints or the facsimile editions, and that's what this is. Being kind of a casual collector and on a bit of a budget where I just can't afford to spend hundreds of dollars on a single book, I've pretty much resigned myself to the fact that I'm not going to be able to own some of these key issues when it comes to Wolverine. They're just out of my price range to get my hands on the originals. So the next best thing are these reprints, these facsimile editions, and I was able to get this for $4.50. So I couldn't pass this one up just to have at least a copy of it. So I'm happy to have that, being the Wolverine fan that I am. And then going back to some old school stuff here, I know they just recently announced Henry Cavill is going to be in the new Highlander remake, and I'm actually a big Highlander fan from way back in the day. Back when Highlander was actually still on TV. I used to watch the show when it came on TV, and I used to have the VHS, the seasons on VHS, had like the first couple seasons all on VHS tape, and I've actually got a replica of Conor McLeod's sword, as well as a tattoo of the Kurgan sword. So you can say I'm a fan. I did not even know that these comics existed until very, very recently, and they had a couple of them there. Again, this is from KRYPTON Comics, and I got these this is $3.50 for this one, issue number 1 from the Dynamite run with Conor McLeod on the cover there. And then I picked up issue number 2 to go along with it, and then finally I grabbed an issue number 3 as well. So I got 1, 2, and 3 from the Dynamite run of the Highlander series, and I only paid $3.50 per book. So I don't know if these are going to spike up or not with the movie coming out once they make the movie. I'm not too concerned about that. It's not like I'm getting this for speculation. It's just that I'm actually genuinely a Highlander fan, and I did not know these existed until just recently, so I got them. So that was from KRYPTON Comics. After that, we started making our way back home, and of course I had to go back by my LCS and pick up a couple of books that they had on hold for me. And while I was there, I did some digging around in the bins as well as the back issues, and found a few things that were kind of interesting, at least to me. And again, most of these things I think were under $5, so I might have paid $7 or $8 for 1 or 2 of them. This was one that I saw the cover and I didn't know this thing existed. I thought it was something that was completely foreign to me, and it turns out it was. It just wasn't what I thought it was. So this is Silk number 2. This is of course the Julia Carpenter version of Spider-Woman, and it's got Marvel Comics 92. I actually thought this was a old Silk run from Marvel 92 from around 1992 that featured Julia Carpenter's Spider-Woman, but as it turns out, that's not the case. This is actually the current Silk from the Cindy Moon. I'm not sure why they put Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman on the cover of this one. It's a really cool variant cover. I do like the variant cover, but this is part of the Cindy Moon Silk run, and this is actually volume 2, I believe. I was under the impression that the current Silk run was the first solo run for Silk. I know that she appeared in a couple of issues prior to that, in some other different issues, but I thought that the current Silk run was the first solo run for her. But as it turns out, it's just like the third one. There's apparently this is a volume 2, I believe, and then there was a few issues of another run before this one that was a Silk run as well. So I was a little confused on that, but nevertheless, it's still a cool cover. So I like the cover, and I'm still glad I got the book. Speaking of covers, this is Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, issue number 1 from the Dynamite run, and I got this simply because it is a J. Scott Campbell cover, and I like the cover. Come to find out, the interior art is actually the same artist that's currently doing the Invincible Red Sonja. So I probably won't be getting more of this particular series, but I do like the cover, and being a J. Scott Campbell fan, I'm happy to have another J. Scott Campbell cover to add to my collection at least. And then here I get a Red Sonja from the old original Marvel run. Excuse me, Red Sonja issue number 2. I've already got number 1, so I went ahead and grabbed the number 2 to add to that as well. Always happy to add Red Sonja to my collection. And still from my LCS, this is Classic X-Men number 39. Now the Classic X-Men series that came out back in the 80s, these were actually reprints of older X-Men stories. So this book in particular is a reprint of Uncanny X-Men number 133, which is widely considered the first Wolverine solo story that you get, where he goes through the minions of the Hellfire Club. And I actually do have issue 132, but I don't have the original 133. So I was able to get this again just for a couple of bucks. Guys, you know, if you can't get your hands on the originals, some of these reprints are the way to go, because you know, you look at it, I kind of look at this as like a second or third printing. You know, it's the same story, and even though it's a reprint, this is 30 years old now. I mean, this came out in 80, I think it's 89. So this is over 30 years old already. Even for a reprint, it's got some age on it, and it's still in pretty good condition. It's the next best thing. If you can't get your hands on the original, just for a couple of bucks, you can't go wrong with this. So then I also grabbed, looking through the Spider-Man, I got a Web of Spider-Man issue number 70, just because it looked fun. This is the first and possibly only appearance of Spider-Hulk. So there you go. And then I told you my LCS had some books on hold for me, so I had to pick those up as well. Nocterra number 4. This is on my pull list. Thoroughly enjoying this story so far, and had to get issue number 4, of course. Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters, issue number 1. The actual first issue was labeled as Alpha, and this is actually the second issue, but it's number 1, but whatever. So Boba Fett, Star Wars, always fun to have. And of course, another new one from Image Comics, Geiger number 3, another great story that's been going on so far. I have not had a chance to read this one yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Got that one. I really like that cover too. It's just ominous. And finally, I told you I got a big haul here. I got a bunch of stuff to go through. Finally, I went to a new place to check out some comics called Second and Charles. And this is a store that we have locally. It's kind of a used bookstore dealer. You may have one in your area. They sell a lot of used books. They do have new books as well, so it's kind of a combination of new and used stuff. And they had a massive collection of back issues to go through. Unfortunately, they were in absolutely no order whatsoever. They were just completely random. So digging through them is literally like looking for a needle in a haystack. I was not able to find anything specific that I was looking for. I was just kind of dug through, and as I came across something that looked interesting, I grabbed it. On the plus side, everything I got was like $1 or $2. So in fact, I think only 2 of them were $2. Everything else was $1. So a lot of dollar bin stuff that I found. Now I did say that they have some new stuff as well. They also had new comics, and I got Spider Shadow number 3 from them. So continuing on with the issue 1 and 2 that I had already. But going into the back issues, here's a few things that I got that I just found really interesting, or at least interesting to me at least. You know, again, no major keys or anything, but Being a J. Scott Campbell fan, Gen 13, this is issue number 9. And then I also got issue number 8 and number 5. Let's see here. This is number 8. And this is number 5. This is an old Image title that J. Scott Campbell worked on. One of his first things that he really kind of got known for before he went off and he started doing Danger Girl and then some other things. So I have a few of the Gen 13s from the old Image run, and then I found these, and for $1, hey, I couldn't pass it up. So grabbed just a couple of those. Another old Image title that I just couldn't pass up. This is Wildcats number 2 by Jim Lee, and I just love this cover, this shiny foil cover. Just I don't know how well you can see that on the screen, but it's just a really cool cover. This is like pure 90s right here. And I had issue number 1, but I did not have this one, so I wanted to get this one. Again, this one only cost me $1, 95 cents. So could not pass that one up. I'm gonna put this here, maybe you can see that a little bit better. Sticking with the Image thing, this is Image Top Cow, which was I believe Mark Silvestri's title run, and I have this character's first appearance already, but this is issue number 1 of her own line, Magdalena, issue number 1 through Image Top Cow, and a Joseph Michael Linsner cover, who I'm also a fan of. So again, for $1, $2, this was a $2 magazine. For $2, I couldn't pass that one up. So I grabbed that one as well. And this one's actually kind of interesting. On the inside, it's Magdalena, and throughout the comic, it's spelled out the right way. But when you open up the interior flap, there's kind of a prologue that kind of gives you the rundown of the character, right? And it's spelled wrong there. They actually have the D and the G backwards on, so it's kind of a misprint on the inside cover. But throughout the rest of the book, it's spelled right. So that's just kind of interesting. Something I've noticed. Next up, I grabbed, again for $1, West Coast Avengers number 70, featuring Spider-Woman, the Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman. So looked interesting. I have a few West Coast Avenger books, and I saw that one, so for $1, why not, right? There we go. And finally, last but not least, here's another $1 book and $2 book, and this is something that I'm a fan of from again, way back in the day. I used to read the Michael Moorcock Elric books, and I didn't even know that they made comics, but of course I kind of expected that they did. But I never actually seen them until now. I came across a couple of them, and this is Elric, Sailor on the Seas of Fate, issue number 3, and this one came out in the 80s. I forget exactly what year, 80, maybe 82, 85, 1985 on this one. So now I'm gonna have to look for more of these. And then I also got Michael Moorcock's Elric, The Making of a Sorcerer. This is issue number 2, and this one's published by DC Comics. So again, I didn't know that these existed, but being a Elric fan from probably when I was a teenager, when I was reading those books, it was really cool to see these in comic books and the dollar bin. So I grabbed them, and now I'm gonna have to look for more of these. I know his first appearance, just recently looking into these, his first appearance was actually in, I believe, Conan from the Marvel run. So I need to look that up, and if it's not too expensive, maybe grab one of those if I can. So anyway, that's what I got. That's my massive comic haul. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for checking out my video. Please hit like and subscribe if you want to. Check out some more videos. I'll have some more stuff coming. I promise I'm going to be getting into some more of my collection here really soon. I've got a lot of Spider-Man to go through. I've got some X-Men and Wolverine to go through. I've got a lot of other stuff to go through, and I will be getting to those really soon. I do promise that. But I had to share this with you because this was such a big, massive comic book haul. I don't normally get this many comics all at once. but I was able to get all of these for just a couple of bucks. And if you're like me and you're on a budget, these are the type of things that you can find for, you know, $1 or $2, or in some cases, you know, $3, $4, $5, and still have some really cool, interesting things that you can pick up. At least I hope you think that they're cool and interesting. I do, and that's really is all that matters, is collecting what you love, which I always tell you. So continue to collect what you love. Thanks for checking out my video, and have a great day, guys.